Good afternoon. This is Chris Robinson and Rob's Ag Marketing with today's post-close grain and livestock comments for October 21st, 2025, Tuesday. Housekeeping, I did post the private client webinar about an hour and a half ago. Hopefully you guys got that. I called it Baker's Dozen. I went through 13 different charts, 13 different levels, 13 different sort of risk profiles. Covered a lot of stuff there. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I spent about a half hour going through there. So if you've got that, take a look at it. And to this morning's letter, I entitled it "Failure to Launch." We did not get Novi beans to go through 1040. That was key resistance there. Now with the announcement that President Trump is going to increase tariffs to 155% on November 1st. Again, that came out after the markets were closed. I got to think we'll be under a little bit of pressure here tonight. Corn did finish down 3.5 cents at 4.19 3/4. November beans did finish down a penny at 10.30 3/4. Chicago wheat finished down 4.5, right at $5.25. I talked about that as well. We were trying to get through 506, 507, and maybe open up the upside there, but just no follow through. And Kansas City D's down a nickel as well, settled at 4.85. Minneapolis down 3 3/4 cent at 5.44. If you are storing wheat, please keep a 400. You do not have to spend a fortune, but I don't want to be in a situation where you're sitting there paying storage and then watching the value of what you stored drop without price protection. Moving on now to the a little bit of green on the market today. Soybean meal was a little bit higher. We'll see if that extends into tomorrow after the whole tariff tweets going on here. There was some talk earlier that he may cancel the meeting. I take it all with a grain of salt. I think it's just part of this negotiation. It is October 21st. They are supposed to have a meeting at the end of the month in South Korea. Again, it's going to be probably a volatile night just based on those tweets. But again, we've seen how that can change tomorrow. You did have some pressure in gold and silver. I did discuss that. I generally don't go down that route because I focus on the grains. But certainly something to look at there. Whenever you come off all-time highs sharply, there's always some things to look at there, and I did include that in the client webinar tonight in the podcast. Fat cattle, these did manage to be higher in the day. It looks like these fat cattle really want to go try and get that 250 print again. We finished up $1.77 at 245.40. October feeders finished lower, but the deferred all finished a little bit higher. Again, we did not get into the gap in November. There's a lot of work to do. There's about $3.40 worth of gap in November. Again, if you're not getting my letter, I do this homework for you. I break it all down for you, so you don't have to be doing your own homework. The key levels are there. I do mention it in the letter, but this market, the cattle market, we're whipsawing with every statement here. More statements today that the president wants to bring up cattle from Argentina. Try and kill two birds with one stone. They're trying to support the Argentinian economy, and they're also trying to lower beef prices here. A lot of this is because of the borders being closed with Mexico because of the screwworm too. Nobody talks about that, but I know. Remember 2 weeks ago they said they were going to open up the border. There was a rumor, and we had a sell-off, and then that went away. So as long as they keep the border closed, historically there's a lot of cattle business that goes on between Canada, goes on between Mexico, and the United States. But definitely this screwworm thing in Mexico is really another culprit behind what's going on with cattle. At the end of the day, markets don't like uncertainty, so my guess is we'll be whipping around again tomorrow. Would not be surprised to see another 5 or 6 cent, 7 cent range in feeder cattle, given the headline news. We did get a good bounce off of a very, very key retracement level in December hogs. Remember, we had a $25 rally. This in the last 2 or 3 days, we've retested several times this 82-cent level. Why was that so important? Well, I talk about that in my webinar as well. Lots of times these retracement levels are self-fulfilling areas. That's why we try and use them, not because we're trying to pick the highs and the lows. We're using them to try and make better decisions about what to do with our hedges. Um, so we'll see. We had a good bounce off that level. And again, I kind of all bets are off tonight, probably tomorrow, as we digest what's going on really with the whole Trump China situation. So we're going to open up tonight. Should be kind of volatile. If you're looking for help, give me a call 312-638-8868. If you're not getting my letter, sign up for it. You can get it month to month. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. It's the stuff that I've learned in 30 plus years of doing this. A little bit about me. I did spend 18 years on the floor as a trader, created my own account. I did not get into working with farmers and ranchers until the floor closed. The floor basically closed in 08, 09. I began working with farmers and ranchers and sort of learning this end of the business in 2010. I started out in the business working for a cash grain trader. That was a whole different ball of wax. So I have got a lot of experience, and I try and share that with my readers. I also do a lot of technical analysis. I do the homework that people don't like to do. It's kind of a grind, but I've been doing it for a long, long time. And this is stuff I used to share with friends of mine who was on the floor because I would do my homework and then say, here, these are the levels I'm looking at. Levels are not perfect, but they do help you make better decisions. At the end of the day, everybody's a bull or everybody's a bear. The key is what do you do when the market runs in your face? And that's what I try to focus on. So this is Chris. Have a good night. 312-638-8868. We'll be back at it in the morning.